Imagine finding out your family fortune isn't just money, but a ticking time bomb of secrets. When renowned chef Alex Bennett inherits an unexpected legacy, it doesn't bring peace. It ignites a bitter feud that threatens to destroy everything. At 34, Chef Alex Bennett had built his name from nothing. His Michelin star restaurant, the Ember Table, was the kind of place where every dish told a story, passion, struggle, and redemption on a plate. But behind that calm, precise demeanor, Alex carried scars. A father who disappeared when he was a boy. A mother who refused to speak of it. A family tree full of silences that felt heavier than words. Then, one Friday morning, his sous chef burst into the kitchen mid-prep, holding out the restaurant's old landline. "Alex, you need to take this. Some lawyer's been calling all morning." Wiping his hands on his apron, Alex picked up the phone. "Mr. Bennett," came a calm voice on the line, "I'm calling regarding the estate of your late uncle, Harold Bennett. You've been listed as the primary beneficiary." Alex froze. "My Uncle Harold? I haven't seen him in over 20 years. Why me?" "Because," the lawyer replied, "you're the only one he trusted." Those words echoed long after the call ended. 3 days later, Alex sat in a cramped law office, its walls lined with dusty books and the faint smell of stale coffee. His mother, Evelyn Bennett, sat rigid beside him, her expression unreadable. Across the table sat his cousins, Nina, sharp-tongued and cynical, and Mark, tall, smiling too much to be genuine. The lawyer, Mr. Grayson, adjusted his glasses and began reading. Harold Bennett leaves to his nephew, Alexander Bennett, the sum of $50,000, and ownership of the Bennett estate in Hawthorne Ridge. Nina's scoff broke the silence. "That place is a ruin." "Figures." Mark leaned forward. "And the rest of the assets?" Mr. Grayson's tone didn't waver. "There are no other assets. The rest were liquidated." The tension was thick enough to taste. Evelyn said nothing, staring at the table as if she already knew. But then came the twist. "There is one final condition," the lawyer continued. Mr. Bennett left a sealed letter, to be opened by Alex only, inside the house itself. He slid a small, wax-sealed envelope across the table. Alex turned it over in his hand. The paper was yellowed, the handwriting frail and deliberate. "Inside the house," Alex repeated under his breath. "Alone," the lawyer confirmed. The following evening, the chef traded his white coat for a leather jacket and drove toward the forgotten mansion. The roads twisted through fog-soaked woods, each mile heavier than the last. The iron gates groaned as he pushed them open, revealing the silhouette of the old Bennett estate, tall, decaying, and shrouded in ivy. The front door creaked like it hadn't been opened in years. Dust hung in the air like ghosts refusing to leave. Every step echoed against marble floors that had once hosted elegant dinners and now whispered of abandonment. In the living room, beneath a shroud of dust, sat a family portrait, his father, his mother, and Uncle Harold, all smiling. The same smile that had vanished from his mother's face years ago. Alex's heart thudded as he broke the wax seal on the letter. "My dear Alex," the letter began, the ink faded but the words still sharp, "if you're reading this, it means the others were too afraid to come. Good. They always feared truth more than loss. The inheritance isn't money, it's the truth about your father's disappearance. And someone in this family has kept it buried for years." Alex's breath caught. The letter continued. "You'll find a key beneath the floorboard in the study. But be warned, once you unlock what's beneath, the family will turn on you. Just as they turned on me." The paper trembled in his hands. He stumbled into the study, knelt by the floorboards, and pried them open with a kitchen knife. Beneath the dust, he found a small metal box. Inside lay a rusted key and an old black-and-white photograph, his father standing beside a car with Evelyn. On the back of the photo, in his father's handwriting, were the words, "The night before he disappeared." Alex's pulse quickened. He pulled out his phone and called his mother. Mom, he said, voice shaking. I found something. About Dad. There was silence. Then, the sound of her soft, shaky breath. Alex, she whispered, leave that house. Now. Tell me what happened, he pressed. But instead of an answer, the line went dead. Outside, headlights flashed across the broken windows. Tires crunched over gravel. A car door slammed. Moments later, Mark appeared in the doorway, his expression unreadable. You shouldn't be here alone, he said, stepping inside. Alex's eyes narrowed. How did you even know I was here? Mark's smirk was thin. Because Uncle Harold sent me something too. He pulled a folded note from his pocket, the handwriting unmistakably Harold's. Before Alex could react, Mark snatched the rusted key from the desk. Whatever he's hiding, Mark snapped, I'm finding it first. They descended into the cellar together, the air thick with mold and silence. The flashlight beam danced across shelves of dusty bottles until it hit a heavy iron door bolted shut. Mark jammed the key into the lock and turned it. A sharp click echoed. The door swung open, revealing a hidden study, cramped, lined with ledgers, old photos, and a tape recorder sitting on a desk. Mark hit play. The tape crackled to life. If you're hearing this, it means they found me before I could leave. Alex, your father didn't run away. He was silenced. And the person responsible is. The tape cut out with a hiss. Mark cursed. It's damaged. But Alex wasn't listening. His eyes were fixed on a pile of papers scattered across the desk, receipts, signed letters, and bank slips. Every single one bore a familiar name. Evelyn Bennett. His mother. The sound of footsteps above made his stomach twist. Then, the faint creak of the front door opening. Evelyn's voice echoed from upstairs, cold, steady, and trembling with something dangerous. Alex, she called. Step away from that room. The sound of her voice froze Alex where he stood. It wasn't the voice of a grieving mother, it was measured, cold, and familiar in a way that made the hair on his neck rise. Mark's flashlight trembled slightly in his hand. Alex, Evelyn repeated, her footsteps echoing through the old house, slow and deliberate. You were never meant to find that room. Alex turned toward the stairway, the light catching on her face as she appeared at the top of the cellar steps, calm, pale, and unreadable. Mom, he said carefully, what's going on? Uncle Harold said Dad didn't run away, that someone silenced him. Her eyes flicked to the desk, to the papers spread out, to her own name on them. Then she sighed, a soft, tired sound. I warned you not to come here, she whispered. But you never could leave things buried. Mark stepped forward, trying to steady his voice. What did you do, Aunt Evelyn? She looked at him sharply. You wouldn't understand. Neither of you were here when it happened. Harold was obsessed with proving your father's innocence, but he was wrong. Alex frowned. Innocence? What are you talking about? Evelyn's voice broke for the first time. Your father was going to ruin everything. He was going to expose the family. The restaurant, the money, all of it was built on fraud, on Harold's books, his illegal deals. Your father wanted to go to the police. So you killed him? Alex snapped. Her face hardened. No. I tried to stop him. Harold did. He told me it was an accident, but I found out later, it wasn't. Her words hit like a blade. The truth, or some twisted version of it, was unraveling fast. Harold killed Dad. Alex whispered. Evelyn nodded slowly. And he spent the rest of his life trying to blame me for it. That letter, the clues, this circus, it was his revenge. Mark shook his head. That's not true. The tape is edited. Evelyn snapped, her composure cracking. You think Harold didn't plan this? He wanted you both fighting each other, the same way he made me live with guilt for 30 years. The tension snapped like a wire. Mark slammed his hand on the desk. Enough lies. He grabbed the tape recorder, rewound it, and hit play again, forcing the old machine to squeal through static. Then, faintly beneath the noise, another voice emerged. "Evelyn, don't, please." A man's voice. His father's voice. Then a sharp thud. Silence. Evelyn's face went white. "Mom," Alex whispered, stepping closer. "That's Dad." "That's his voice." Her eyes filled with tears. "You don't understand what he was going to do to us, Alex. He was going to take you away. He wanted to destroy Harold, destroy everything. I tried to stop him from leaving that night." Alex's throat tightened. "And he never made it out." Her silence said everything. Mark was already moving, searching through the ledgers, knocking over dusty crates. "Where is he?" he demanded. "What did you do with him?" Evelyn's lips trembled. "It's over, Mark. Let it go." "No," he shouted, shoving aside an old rug in the corner. Beneath it, the outline of a square hatch was barely visible in the concrete. He pried it open, and the stench of rot filled the room. Alex stumbled back, covering his mouth. Inside the shallow pit was a tattered jacket, a rusted watch, and the faint outline of a skeleton beneath collapsed boards. His father's watch. Evelyn sank to her knees, sobbing silently. He wasn't supposed to die. Harold said he'd take care of it. I thought he meant he'd help him disappear. Alex felt the world tilt, the smell of damp earth, the chill of betrayal, the crushing weight of truth pressing on his chest. Mark's voice was distant, shaking. "We need to call the police." But before he could reach his phone, Evelyn stood, calm again, almost eerily composed. "No. You're not dragging this family through the dirt again." She moved faster than either of them expected. From her coat pocket, she pulled a lighter, the same kind Alex used in his kitchen to finish desserts. Her eyes glistened with tears, but her voice was steady. "I built everything for you, Alex. For this family. If the world finds out what happened here, it'll all be gone. Harold wins, even from the grave." "Mom, stop!" Alex shouted. But she flicked the lighter, letting the flame catch on a curtain's frayed edge. The old house groaned as fire licked up the walls, feeding on dry wood and years of dust. Mark bolted toward the door. Alex grabbed his mother's wrist, dragging her toward the stairs as the smoke thickened. "Let it burn," she screamed. "It's what it deserves." The stairway collapsed behind them, forcing them through the side entrance. Alex stumbled out into the cold night, coughing, dragging his mother through the overgrown grass. Behind them, the Bennett estate went up in flames, the fire swallowing decades of secrets, lies, and guilt. By morning, only the stone foundation remained. The police found the remains beneath the cellar, confirmed as David Bennett, Alex's father. Harold's old tapes were partially recovered, enough to prove that both brothers were involved in financial crimes, and that Evelyn had been part of the cover-up. Mark gave his statement and disappeared from the public eye. Evelyn was taken away quietly, her hands shaking as she looked at her son one last time. "I did it for you," she whispered as they placed her in the police car. Alex didn't respond. He couldn't. Months later, the Ember table reopened, but its tone had changed. Gone were the flashy dishes and TV cameras. The new menu was simpler, stripped down to its roots, the kind of food that told the truth, no matter how bitter. In the restaurant's corner sat a framed photograph, Alex's father, smiling beside him as a child. No explanations. No words. One night after closing, Alex stood in his kitchen alone, staring into the reflective steel of a cooking pan. His own tired eyes looked back at him, the reflection of a man who had inherited not wealth, but truth. Some legacies come wrapped in gold. Others are sealed in secrets. And for Chef Alex Bennett, the real inheritance was the cost of uncovering them. Imagine uncovering a family secret so dark it burns everything you thought you knew, even the home you grew up in. For Chef Alex Bennett, the inheritance wasn't fortune, it was the truth, and the truth came with flames. One letter. One key. One night that turned legacy into ashes. As the smoke settles over the ruins of the Bennett estate, one truth remains: some recipes are written in love, others in lies. Alex Bennett didn't inherit wealth, he inherited the cost of uncovering it. If this story gripped you to the end, hit like if you believe truth always finds its way out. Comment below, would you open the letter if it meant destroying your family? Subscribe for more true crime-inspired stories where secrets, betrayal, and redemption collide. Because every family has a recipe, and some should never be followed.